Hazaka Baruch, Hazaka Baruch. We're going to start right now. We talk about Rosh Hashana. We thank everyone, Sharon, for making it happen. The title was Maximizing the ROI. ROI is so important. Return on investment. Whenever we get into something, we have to ask ourselves, what am I putting in and what am I expecting to get out? Maximizing Rosh Hashana, it's a nice ideal. But what am I supposed to get out? In business, we have to know what the KPIs are, key performance indicators. What are we in it for? What are we trying to get out of this? If we just enter Yamim Noraim and we exit it, and it was just one hodgepodge of Chagim, what was each day for? Making sense? And so, what am I doing? What's my return on investment? How do I calculate it? It's my tefillot are answered, I'm healthier, I get married, I have more parnasah. What's my ROI on what I'm about to do in the next 2 weeks, and 3 weeks, and 4 weeks? That's what we're here for. And just to drive the point home even harder, let's say we're investing money. You go to an investor, you're a fund manager, you say, I get 10% returns. Is that good or bad? It depends. What's your strategy? Are you going for an income strategy or growth strategy? Income strategy, 10% is gold. You can't find 10%. Stocks, bonds, and none of that you can find 10%. You're doing growth strategy, you tell someone 10%, 20%, they'll laugh at you. They're talking about 1x, 2x, 10x, 50x, 100x returns which you're looking for. It all depends on what you're doing. So you have to know what our point here is and what Rosh Hashana is about. If you do not know what Rosh Hashana is about, then you're already out to lunch. You get a phone, Sharon gets a phone call, I get a car, brand new showroom car. How much? Of course, $400,000. He's not going to pay $400,000. It's $200,000. I'll give it to you for $200,000. It's a $400K car. He does his diligence. He comes out and he says, how fast does this car go? He's going to tell him, tops 75 miles per hour. 0 to 60, 45 seconds. Good investment? What do you guys say? Depends. What? What is it? Is it a Lamborghini or is it a garbage truck? Garbage trucks go for $400,000. It's worth $400,000, $200,000 is the deal. But again, you're going into it, you have to know what am I supposed to get out of it. And far too often we just jump into things expecting we know what it is, and at the end of the day, it's something else. So even if we had a successful Rosh Hashanah, if we don't know what to expect in return on our ROI, then we've lost the battle. Make sense so far? And so again, I ask, what is the point of Rosh Hashanah? I don't know about you guys. I get the anxiety. I'm driving down Pico and sukkahs are already popping up. It's like, whoa, what just happened? Like, wait, let me get done with Rosh Hashanah and then I'll get to Sukkot. It's like, imagine you call it advance in Pats. You call from advance. You say, I want to place my order. I want, what do we get? We get the hors d'oeuvres, the egg rolls, whatever your favorite dish is, the bacon, whatever. Kosher bacon, obviously. And then you have the main course. And then you have the bread pudding, right? That's the one you have to order like 2 days in advance. And then you have your chai, and you're good to go. Good plan? Imagine you walk in, the second you walk in, the waitress comes and gives you everything, and it's all in one bag and just gives it to you. Do you see how so different that is than if you walk in, they put you at the table, they give you a nice hors d'oeuvres, they give you a nice drink, then they bring the main. You see the process? It's the same thing. If we jump into it, Mu'adim b'simcha, Mu'adim shalom, we call it the high holidays, Yamim Noraim, it's all one hodgepodge. What's the ROI on each one? Each one has a process, and we have to get into it. And if we just show up and we just dive in, what's going on? That's what we're here to talk about today. And so it's important not just to get bial lamdish and start making diukim between the tefillot and this holidays like this. These are big picture, simple concepts we want to get into. Maharal says, whenever you want to know, Netzach Israel, first chapter, he says, whenever you want to get to know something, you have to know what it's not. You have to know what it's not. And so what I want to do in the next 5-10 minutes is just go between these chagim and let's notice the differences. Fair? So Rosh Hashana, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. You could know the differences of each Chag by the mitzvot of the day and the tefillot of the day. Make sense? Hashem gave us the mitzvot, and Sheikh Knesset Gedolah gave us the musafim, the musaf of the day, and in it you have the secrets of what that is. And it's there on the page, it's on the daf. We just have to kind of pay attention to it. So I'm not, usually in a regular forum, I'll do question and answer, time is tight, I'm just going to throw it at you, with your permission. So what's going on here is the idea that Yom Kippur, if you pay attention to it, what's unique to Yom Kippur? We're fasting our bodies. And what's unique to the tefillah? What? There's extra tefillot. What's extra about Yom Kippur tefillot? There's ne'ilah, but let's just focus on musaf for now. Vidui. Chatati, pashati. Vidui. What's unique about musaf of Rosh Hashana? What? The shofar, shofarot, malchuyot, zichronot, that's added. What's unique about Sukkot? You have lulav and etrog, but you also have sukkah. And then in the tefillah, what's different about it? You have hallel. Yes? Fair? So I want to dig in and just understand, appreciate the difference here. And again, I'm asking you, what are you going into Rosh Hashanah with? What are you going to be praying about? Rabbi Botnick's going to speak after me about what specifically is going on, whether it's prayer, whether it's a mitzvah. But let's focus here on what are you going to be praying for? Was it shidduchim, health, parnasa? What's going on here? Remember what I said. Let's go back to the tefillah. If you pay attention, the musaf of Rosh Hashanah is all about Hashem. It's all about Hashem. The focus of Rosh Hashanah tefillah, it's not about us. It's all about Hashem. Think about it. Shofarot, zichronot, malchuyot, it's all about Hashem. There's no me. Yes, you get to Elokai Netzor, it's personal, it's about me. It's about me. But let's, beyond that, what's going on here? There is nothing about you individually. Yes, we have Tefillat Parnasah and other stuff going on, but look at the main point of the day. The main point of the day is not about us, whereas Yom Kippur is all about us. Chatati, pashati, aviti. And that's what I want to focus on. Because we are here to make a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And any relationship you want to do, the smart people in life, they first seek to understand that which they want to connect with, and then they insert themselves in the conversation, in the equation. And you'll see this. Smart people, when they meet someone, it's not about them. It's about understanding the other person, what they're offering. Remember what I said about the example of the salesman of the asset manager? He's trying to sell goods when he doesn't know the buyer. If we show up for Rosh Hashanah trying to sell our goods, Hashem, give me this, we don't even understand the buyer that we're dealing with, so to speak. But you see this on and on again. I see this to my own salespeople. They're making presentations. They're going into architects' office, designers' offices. I tell them, if you are not asking at least 3 questions before you begin your presentation, you've already lost the room. Who are you talking to? What's their specialty? You have no idea, and you want to start selling when you don't know the other side? And you see this in dating too. The guy shows up for a date. He's talking about himself. Me this, I did this, I went like this. I want this, me. Do you know who you're speaking to? And relationships is the same way. I'm sure everyone has heard this idea of love languages. Yes, everyone has their own love language. If you haven't, for my chatanim and my wife's kalot, we always tell them, make sure you take the love language test. It's the idea that everyone has their own love language. And you see this time and time again. What happens? It shows up, the guy messes up. He is, let's say he likes gifts. He's into like touch, so he likes massages. So what does he do? He starts giving gifts to his wife when he messed up. When the wife is what they call acts of service. She just wants you to wash the dishes and wash the floor. I'm being totally serious here. Or vice versa. She could care less about gifts. You buy gifts for her, she could care less about it. So you're trying to go and approach and make a relationship with something else besides you with the way you know how to do it. And so Rosh Hashanah comes upon us and we just go straight forward. This is what I think is right. This is the right thing. This is the right thing. That's not what's going on. Rosh Hashanah is not about us. It's our chance to understand and just limit ourselves to understand what the world and Hashem's kingdom is about. I want to give one example to really bring it home. If they don't kill him, imagine if Trump becomes president. He becomes president, it's the day of the inauguration, peaceful transfer of power. He's getting up there, he's talking about his agenda. And his son, whether Eric Trump, Trump Jr., or maybe his son-in-law, they get up and they start giving their own ideas of what they should be doing. They go on Twitter and they start saying, I want to use my money for this. Imagine if Eric Trump comes and takes the microphone and says, Dad, can I have like $10 million? I want to invest in the low-income housing in New York. Wouldn't that be absurd? And as hard as it is to swallow, Rosh Hashanah is not about, the main focus is not about us. Rosh Hashanah is not about what we want to get. Obviously, like I said, there's parts for it. Elokai Netzor, and there's the Tefilat Parnasah. But again, it's not the main focus of the day. For us to come on the day of the inauguration and focus on ourselves is kind of off. Now, I'm saying this in this room because we have B'nai Torah here. You guys, Hazaka Baruch, you take half a day, you come to learn Torah, you're top 1% of the learners in LA. Hazaka Baruch. You guys, I'm assuming, are davening every day. And so, I think you guys can hear it. Now, if, let's say Donald Trump had a son that he'd never seen before, and somehow he showed up on Inauguration Day and he hasn't seen him for 10 years, and he misses his son, and the son comes up, yes. B'chol makom she'eskir Hashemi, wherever Hashem's name is found, Hashem will come to, will answer. Right? So in a typical crowd, you have the one time a shul Jew comes to shul. Yes, they're going to come and they're going to daven and they're going to talk what they want, they're going to cry and all that stuff. Halachically speaking, you should not be asking publicly about your request. It's halakha. Now, obviously, Hashem is our Father, and something's on our heart, and we really want to daven to Hashem. Hashem is going to be listening to it. But again, we're B'nai Torah here. We daven every day. We have tefillin. Every day we go on Shabbat. You have days for asking for your tzrachim. But what's going on? Rosh Hashanah is a day of Mekabel Ol Malchut Shamayim, to come in and ask for our own needs specifically and exclusively. You can see why it's kind of off. Am I making sense here? Anyone want to push back? Please do. No pushback? So we see here how important it is for us to appreciate that. And all the other things are important, but let's not forget that if we do the process properly, this will answer the question why Yom Kippur has to come before Rosh Hashanah. It's like the famous question every rabbi asks. Why does Rosh Hashanah come after Yom Kippur, before Yom Kippur? Does it make sense? Don't you want kapara before? This is one of the answers. Because how can I ask for kapara if I don't feel what damage I have done? You have to feel it. You have to have an ideal of what we're doing. That's what we have to do. And so Yom Kippur, you have 10 days. This is, I feel, I understand, this is the world that Hashem wants to leave. This is the world that we want to have. This is the kingdom. This is the ideal. And I have 10 days to give my business plan to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to say, you know what, this year I'm going to do it differently. But it has to come in process. I'm not going to have the chai and the shirini before the main course. It doesn't make sense. The same thing here. Yom Kippur is going to come after. Now, if we do these things properly, Rosh Hashanah, I understand Hashem. Yom Kippur, I come and say, Hashem, I want to fit in your world. I don't because I'm kind of weird here and I'm messed up here. I'm going to fix myself. Let me come into your world. What happens? What's the next Hag? Sukkot. Sukkot Zeman. And is it about us or Hashem? Both. That's the union. That's the harmony that we are going to do. If we do it properly, when we come from understanding what Hashem is, accepting Malchut Shamayim, then we come and insert ourselves to see how we fit, then you have a real marriage. Then you have Sheva Barachot. Then you have what? Sheva Barachot for 7 nights. You're in the same home. You're becoming B'yichud HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But it starts with Bitul. For the Kabbalists in the room, I see a couple that are into these things. You have Malchut, Keter, Chesed, Gevur, all these things. Rosh Hashanah, each holiday has its own Sefirah. So what's Rosh Hashanah? Usually it's either Keter, crown, or Malchut at the bottom. Both of those Sefirot, for those that care, are Sefirot of Bitul. Bitul hayesh. Completely taking myself out of the equation for a moment and understanding what the big picture is. B'ezrat Hashem, for Rosh Hashana, we're able to pause our requests. Obviously, it's in our heart. And obviously, we're going to have time for it to come out. And at Kala Yitzor, and at the Seder table, and at Tefilat Parnasa. There's places. But let's not forget. Let's make some space for Hashem. Let's mevatel ourselves. Hashem wants to hear our tefillot, 100%. But He would rather hear it during the week, our request, and then spend Rosh Hashanah understanding that all mekabel all malchut shamayim. Thank you so much.